the Supreme Court of Justice has made a decision. According to local news outlets, the Supreme Court met today on Tuesday to discuss the public works, and the Supreme Court has decided to uphold the condemnation against our former president of Argentina, Cristina Fernández de Kirchner. They have decided to uphold Cristina Fernández de Kirchner conviction. She has been sentenced for 6 years due to the Vialidad case. This is a historic moment for Argentinians as people are gathering together to support the former president, to tell her that she's not alone. This is going to be a political move against the leftists, the Peronism in the country. She is the leader of Peronism, let's recall. She's loved by many people, and also many people owe her. That's why many people are already on the streets awaiting for this result that was already expected. This is a blow for the democracy of the country, also a blow for the leftist movement, but also it is a moment in which the leftist movement in the country is going to unite against this decision and against this political persecution that has been falling upon the leader of Peronism in the country, the most strong opposition figure in the country against the arbitrary neoliberal policies of President Javier Milei. And these government people are willing to take to the streets to prove the Milei's administration that Cristina Fernández is not alone. The people also is loyal to their feelings today and are assuring that this is a political move, a political persecution to undermine Fernández's leadership and also power ahead of the legislative elections to prevent her from holding a key political position. Let's recall that this comes 3 months ahead of the local legislative election in Buenos Aires province, in which Kirchner is set to run for provincial lawmaker. She was set to run for political lawmaker, in a section of the province of Buenos Aires where Peronism and Kirchnerism have solid foundations. People are crying on the streets at this moment. This was an expected outcome, but also the people is showing up for Cristina Fernández and also showing that she is not alone, and that this is a crucial moment for Peronism in the country. This is a moment of unity for the leftist movements in the country. When she was asked early on why, by her close allies, on the possibility to leave the country since the Supreme Court is probably going to uphold this verdict, she said, "No way, I'm innocent, and perhaps this is my political destiny to help Peronism to move forward." This is what she said. This is a war, also a war declaration against Cristina, and also a war against the people of Argentina who see in her the only hope to revert Argentina's reality, what the country is suffering today, as the Milei administration is using all of its maneuvers to prevent people from the right to protest, for example, in a country that is submerged in a multidimensional crisis, for example, massive layoffs, police brutality against elderly people claiming for their rights, also the continuous attacks on freedom of speech. Today is going to be a long day, but it's also to be a historic one for the people of Argentina, as this would be the final appeal of Cristina Fernández to her conviction. Also, this puts an end to her aspirations of applying for political posts in the country, and also, of course, this would have meant a threat for the Javier Milei's administration, who is at this moment preventing her from occupying this, from leading a powerful force that is Peronism today in Argentina. This is a crucial moment for all Argentinas in the country. There are traffic interruptions, for example, in the Panamericana and Pacheco, in Camino del Buen Aire, in Acceso Oeste, also in the province of Buenos Aires, La Plata Highway, also at the height of Quilmes, and in the Richeri Highway at the height of the AFA premises. There will also be marches throughout today following this outcome. Let's recall that today the Supreme Court of Justice gathered to finally decide on the Vialidad case against Cristina Fernandez, since this has been a complex cause, is also took longer than expected to know the final verdict, but actually was already expected a few days ago. It got linked the final decision of the Supreme Court on this matter. If these were previous images of earlier today when Cristina Fernandez, the Kirchner, was entering and arriving at the headquarters of the Peronist Party earlier today to await for this decision of the Supreme Court. She has been calm, she has been strong throughout the day, according to witnesses and according to her fellow allies who were with her at the headquarters of the Peronist Party headquarters in Buenos Aires, capital of Argentina. She has been supported since very early in the day by hundreds and hundreds of people who, as we can see in these early images, they are supporting her, they are chanting her, they are saluting her, they are letting her know that she's not alone. You can see the strength in her face, and she's been working non-stop. She's been drafting decisions and answering calls, and she's been working non-stop towards the upcoming steps. She was asked earlier in the week, she was asked, why don't you leave the country if you know that perhaps the Supreme Court of Justice is going to uphold this conviction? She said, no way, I'm not going to leave my country. This is my political fate. I am innocent, but I'm here to unite the Peronism movement in the country, and this is what is happening, and this is what we are seeing today. We are going to showing at this moment that there are already reactions taking place throughout the country. We can see former President of Ecuador, Rafael Correa, who just reacted to this decision. He said, go Cristina, go Argentina, enough with the lawfare, defeat us if you can, all to the polls. This is what former President of Ecuador, Rafael Correa, said in just a few minutes after this decision of the Supreme Court of Argentina that has reaffirmed, that has upheld this decision, the decision of the conviction against Cristina Fernandez de Kirchner, who is convicted of corruption, and she's due to go for a 6-year prison conviction, which is still to be known if she's going to apply to this conviction from home, from a prison home. The Supreme Court hasn't decided on this matter yet. There are, as we mentioned, this is a crucial moment for Argentinians. Let's recall that Cristina Fernandez de Kirchner is the leader of Peronism. She is loved by many, many people, as we can see in these live images that teleSUR English is bringing to your TV and to your screens. People are willing to take to the streets and are doing so to prove the Milei's administration that Cristina Fernandez is not alone. Also, we just saw the reaction of former President of Ecuador, Rafael Correa, who says, go Cristina, go Argentina, defeat us if you can. Enough with the lawfare. This is what former President of Ecuador, Rafael Correa, who's also been a victim of persecution, of political persecution, said to support the leader of Peronism in Argentina, who is at this moment being the leader of this movement and being the epicenter of the attention of the world at this moment. All eyes are on Argentina, who are following closely this decision that undermines democracy in Argentina, that undermines the leftist movements of the country, and far from dividing this political movement and this political force is actually uniting the people. We can see people on the streets waving flags, chanting and playing music. Cristina Fernandez, the Kirchner, is not alone. The people is loyal today to their feelings. They are assuring that this is nothing but a political move, a political persecution to undermine Fernandez's leadership and also her power, or trying to do so ahead of the legislative elections in which she was set to hold. She would have been set to hold a political position of power, since she is also the main rival and main opposition leader of Argentina's President Javier Milei, who also has drawn Argentina to one of the worst multidimensional crises that the country has faced in decades, with a massive repression, police brutality on the streets being broadcasted widely as the world sees with horror what has been going on for months already. Every Wednesday, when the elderly people takes to the streets to demand better pensions, to demand to be heard by the authorities, also in a context in which Argentina is suffering massive layoffs without the workers' rights to be guaranteed. Also at a moment in which Argentina is falling deeply into a debt and also an inflationary tariffs and taxes that are affecting Argentines' daily life and also their real purchases power. This is a moment of reaffirmation. People are on the streets. It's going to be a long day for Argentinians. Also, there's going to be a historic day, people of this South American country, as this would be also the final appeal of Cristina Fernandez to her conviction. Also, the Supreme Court has decided. They have reaffirmed the conviction. We are seeing moments at this moment. We are seeing images taken earlier today when Argentine political leaders entered to the headquarters of the Peronist Party earlier today, and she was received by thousands and by hundreds of supporters. We are seeing live images of President Nicolás Maduro, who is at this hour holding a meeting with a representative of the Chinese Communist Party, with a delegation from the Chinese Communist Party. And this is a crucial meeting for the relations of both countries, who are at the maximum level at this moment, actually precisely following the meeting that President Nicolás Maduro held in Russia with the President of China, Xi Jinping, in which both ratified their most crucial and in line policies to keep building together a relationship of mutual respect and mutual benefit for the benefit of both peoples and governments. This is crucial. This is a delegation that is from the Chinese Communist Party, the Communist Party of China, that is leading a visit, paying an official visit to Venezuela, and in which President Nicolás Maduro is hosting this meeting at the Miraflores Palace in Caracas, Venezuela, also following the great and massive victory of the Great Patriotic Poll during the legislative and regional elections of past May 25th. This is a ratification of the willingness of Venezuela to keep building and stretching the relations up with China, the giant Asian, and at a moment in which Venezuela is being supported by many leaders of the world, in spite of the misinformation campaigns, in spite of the xenophobic campaigns that are taking place to undermine the credibility of the government of President Nicolás Maduro. This is a proof that Venezuela is not alone. This is a meeting between the high representatives of the Communist Party of China and also the high officials, the high authorities of the Bolivarian government, led by President Nicolás Maduro, at a moment in which the historic relations between both countries have been ratified. And also let's recall that the formal diplomatic relations between both countries were established in August 1944, and the recognition was also passed through in 1974 during the establishment of the Popular Republic of China. This is crucial for both governments and both leaders of the country. We were witnessing a meeting between President Nicolás Maduro and high representatives, a delegation from the Communist Party of China, at a crucial moment for the relationship of both countries. This is all for the moment, but stay tuned with teleSUR English for more information on this crucial meeting. Thousands of Argentinians go out on the streets across the nation to express their rejection to the Supreme Court's ruling against former President Cristina Fernández and in support to the Peronist leader. Roadblocks and other interruptions to traffic have been reported in several highways of the country, especially in the city of Buenos Aires. Also, a massive march to the Judicialista party headquarters was called by the Union of Automotive Transport Mechanics and related workers, while messages of support from Latin American leaders continue to arrive, exhorting the former president to remain strong in these difficult moments.